Sicherheit stand für mich schon immer an oberster Stelle in der Fliegerei und deshalb haben wir den ULPower Motor gewählt. Das ist ein Familienunternehmen, wo man sich genau darauf verlassen kann, dass wir direkte Ansprechpartner haben, wenn wir Probleme haben.
We choose ULPower because it's the only fully aerobatic engine from factory, warranty. We choose it because it's reliable, we can trust on it, and we build it with our own hands. Actually, it was a robot who built it, but we put the parts together.
Auf meinem Gyro, auf meinem Tragschrauber hatte ich einen Rotax-Motor und habe mir daran die Zähne ausgebissen. Ein unglaublich komplizierter Motor. Und deshalb waren wir schon Anfang des Jahres in Friedrichshafen auf der Suche nach einem einfachen, guten Motor, leichten Motor. Und da sind wir auf ULPower gestoßen. Und das aus Sergios Sicht der beste Motor, weil er ihn reparieren kann. Aus meiner Sicht der beste Motor, weil er einfach zu handeln ist. Ich habe einen einzigen Gashebel und sonst keinen Hebel. Den Rest macht das Flugzeug allein oder der Motor alleine. Und das ist genau, was ich brauche. Einfach zur Hand haben, wirksam, leicht. Leicht ist immer ein ganz großes Problem. Der ULPower Motor ist stärker, leichter und einfacher als der Rotax.
What's very nice about ULPower and why I really encourage people to buy this engine is because the technology, you just can't get this technology from other companies. Other companies now are starting to follow suit and design their new engines like ours. It's got dual electronic ignition, it's got multi-point fuel injection and FADEC. So in the cockpit all you have is a throttle. There's no primer, there's no choke, there's no carburetor heat. It frees up the pilot to look outside the windows of the airplane and fly the airplane and not have to worry about turning on the carburetor heat. So many pilots, so many fatal accidents are because pilots, when they're getting ready to land, they forget to turn on the carburetor heat and the engine quits and they can't make it to the runway and they hit a tree and they get killed. With ULPower you don't have that, so you don't have to worry about that. So it's a much safer operating engine.
Haben wir uns eingeladen in die Fabrik und haben die gebeten, uns doch mal beizubringen, wie man so einen Motor zusammenbaut. Und die waren so nett, dass sie uns den ganzen Motor, genau den Motor, den ich in mein Flugzeug einbauen werde, vom Grund auf aufbauen ließen, was ein riesen Vertrauen in den Motor bringt und weil ich genau weiß, was drin ist, genau weiß, wie es funktioniert und damit sehr zufrieden sein kann.
What's nice about ULPower engines is because of the way they're designed and manufactured and the company philosophy, most people that are building an airplane have a certain knowledge, skill and ability level, and they're able to do a lot of the maintenance themselves. A lot of the competitors to ULPower don't allow the owner to do maintenance on their engine. They mandate, they require that they go to a certified repair center. Part of the reason they do that is so that they make more money on the service. We don't do that. We let people, we trust the people that they're smart. We let them do their own maintenance and their own servicing and things like that. If they have any problems, they can call me, they can email me, they can call another dealer or distributor, they can call or email the factory. And what's really nice about ULPower aero engines, the manufacturer of the engines, is they're very quick. If they see one person reports a problem on an engine, they look at it and they start scratching their head thinking maybe we should modify this. If 2 or 3 people report the same problem, they modify it, they change the design, they fix it. On the next engine they ship a new engine, it's already got new improvements, and then they ship out parts to all the existing customers to fix their engines. So the support from the factory is really very nice. ULPower aero engines that come from Belgium are better than other engines of their similar horsepower displacement because to a great extent they're a lot lighter because they use modern technology, modern materials, and it's all designed on the computer and manufactured by the computer. So they're able to use current technology compared to other engines that were designed in the 40s and things. And so as one example, at 180 horsepower, we have 20 more horsepower, but we weigh 100 pounds lighter than a 180 horsepower engine, just because we're able to use new technology and things like that. From a service standpoint, ULPower aero engines, you can go to just about, if you can't do the work yourself with the installation manual or telephone support, you can go to any airplane mechanic at your airport, or you could also go into town and get an auto mechanic, bring him out to the airport. The engine is so easy. You know, you could get a Volkswagen mechanic, an Audi mechanic, or an airplane mechanic to look at it, and it's just very simple. It's as easy as working on, you know, a motorcycle that was designed in the 1960s. It's just a very simple engine to work on.
Okay, so about history, maybe it's a long question, but to make it short, in the late 90s we had a company in Belgium who produced a helicopter. It was the name Mosquito, and they needed an engine for this helicopter, and the only available on the market was the Jabiru 2.2, 80 horsepower. So they bought it, they built it in, but it didn't work. So the helicopter couldn't lift up. So they changed everything on the helicopter, steel changing by titanium, aluminium by composite, and so on. It still doesn't work until they took out the engine and put it on the bench and find out that the engine only had 68 horsepower instead of 80. Then we said, okay, we shall modify the engine. We changed the inlet collector, we changed the camshaft, valves and so on, until we reached 80 horsepower, and then it still worked. Then we said, why should we buy an engine and modify it? We should better make one ourselves. So we started to make a complete new engine, a new design in 2003 finally. But the company Mosquito went bankrupt, went in fight, and so we stayed with our investment we did, and then we decided forget the helicopter, we go on with the engine. And we started with the first 4-cylinder, the littlest one, 97 horsepower, and during 3 years we continued, developed, changed, made scrap, remade, until we had finally the first good engine ready for the market. And in 2006 we founded the company ULPower. So starting from then we start developing further and further. From the smallest 4-cylinder 97 horsepower we added another piston and cylinder head to have a higher compression ratio, and also reach 107 horsepower. It's basically the same engine, only another compression ratio, but you need another quality of fuel. The low ratio uses 95 octane mogas. The high compression needs at least 98. That's to avoid detonation. After a few years we started to develop the 4-cylinder, the 3.5 liter, who produce in both low and high compressions 118 and 130 horsepower. After a while we received questions to have bigger engines for 4 seats, and so we said we can add finally a cylinder to have the 6-cylinder. And the little baby 4-cylinder we added 1 cylinder, and we got the 3.9 liter, both low and high ratio compression, so we had 140 and 160 horsepower. We did the same with the 4-cylinder, the 3.5. We added 1 cylinder more, and so we had the 180 and 200 horsepower engine. They all are direct drive, air-cooled, FADEC controlled, and that's it a little bit, I think.
Yeah, so the range is from
97 to 200.
And the engine we see behind you,
yeah,
is...
this is indeed the biggest one. This is the 200 horsepower 6-cylinder 5.2 liter.
I understand that the engines, all engines are similar. I mean, you just added 2 cylinders, are the same?
Yeah, it was our goal. It was our goal to use so much the same parts in every engine. So I mean that we nearly use the same piston in all cylinders. The cylinders themselves, depending the 2.6 and the 3.9, use the same cylinders. We use the same starter, the same injectors, spark plugs, and so on, to reduce production cost finally.
Yeah, that means, but also that flying clubs can have a few different engines, but only one stock and spare parts. Is it true?
That's correct. Not only one, of course, but let's say for 1.5 you have spare parts for all the 4 or finally 8 different types.
Yeah, and the last question is, do you have aerobatic engines from the beginning? I mean, not an engine that the aerobatic pilot has to change, to modify? Can we buy in
You cannot rebuild it, because the crank casing is different. There are a lot more holes in the top in case of inverted flying, you have to bring all the oil to the back of the back plate to the engine, so you need a lot of holes to make. So we have the inverted systems on all the types of engines, but these are specially built. So you need, of course, an extra inverted fan valve, you need the extra air breather, but there is a special oil sump and there is also special backplate and engine casing finally.
So you have a four-cylinder aerobatic engine and a six-cylinder aerobatic.
Correct. So we have the 2.6 inverted, we have the 3.5 inverted, the 3.9 inverted and the 5.2. Well, I know that, for example, like Cumming said, we have the standard engine, you can just use the same engine and just add they call it the Kristen system, the inverted oil system. From our part we said no, you need a complete other engine because we will inside be sure that all oil becomes to the place where it have to be.